Well, we're fucked. Hey everyone, welcome to Prince the Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Bleach, the Thousand Year Blood War, episode 8, I believe? 7. Sorry, episode 7. And yeah, Yamamoto, head captain Yamamoto is dead, killed by Yuhabaha after quite the clever ruse. Um, the Soul Society is in chaos. Bankai are being stolen like they're candy. And Ichigo is stuck in a box. In kind of the middle of two dimensions. Fun. Yeah. I I don't understand how we're going to stop this. The only thing that could make sense is Ichigo getting out because, like, he was being trapped there for specifically the reason to keep him away from the Soul Society. Meaning he has to be able to stop this. He has that ability. But he can't get out. And there was that person who came, I guess, to his rescue, but we haven't seen anything from that in a couple episodes. Because it's like, oh, they killed the Stern Ritter who was there, who trapped Ichigo in the first place. Kisuke had a reaction to them being there, but we have no idea who it was. It's just kind of confusing as to what's even happening with that. Um, but yeah, like, what's gonna happen now? Is Zaraki going to attack Yuhabaha? Are the other captains gonna try to do something? Because this feels entirely fucked at this point. What is anyone supposed to do? And Yamamoto dying is just gonna, destroy the morale of the entire Soul Society. Like, what are we supposed to do? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But we're going to find out, and we're not going to waste any more time. Let's just get into this, see what happens. Cutting in here real quick to remind you of all the awesome content we have on the channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions with 2 on Wednesday. We also have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday. I do pre-record them during the week, but upload them on the weekend. And don't forget about all the gaming content over on the Princess of Gaming channel. We have Baldur's Gate 3 every single day, Horizon Forbidden West on Mondays and Fridays, Tuesdays and Thursdays is Life is Strange, Wednesdays and Sundays is Red Dead Redemption 2, and on Saturdays we have Nier Automata. A lot of great gaming content every day. Don't forget to click the link in the description below to follow it to today's reaction. I redirect everything just due to copyright reasons. And please subscribe to the channel and like the video if you want to see more awesome content such as this. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at today's reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I talked about this, I think last episode, maybe the episode before. But when you go back and watch something that you watched when you were a lot younger, oftentimes it doesn't quite live up to your memory, right? A lot of times when you watch something that you've seen before, your memory of it is better than the actual quality of the movie, the show, even in terms of playing games, etc., etc. And in some ways, I feel like Bleach is one of those examples. Because there's a lot of aspects of it, and I have tried to rewatch it again in the decade between these releases and everything. There are cases and some situations and some episodes and etc., parts of the series that really are still great and live up to the hype and the excitement. But there's also parts of it that it's like, it takes a little bit to get going here and there. Some of this stuff's not as interesting, yada yada, etc., etc. And I think part of the reason is because when you first watch it, especially the first time you watch it, it's all new to you. It's fresh. It's exciting. But years later, when you try watching again, it's like, oh, you've seen this already. It's nothing new at this point. You've seen things that have gone like beyond it and everything in terms of the level of quality and various other factors. So by that point, it's like, okay, this is nothing special anymore. And you start to be able to see a lot more of its flaws. But there's some cases where, okay, let's say a new entry to something comes out. Whether it's a new season or for video games, like just a new entry in the series, etc., etc. A new entry comes out, and it gives you that same feeling that you had with the original when you were young. That's what is happening here for me. Because when I watched this growing up, it was like one of the coolest fucking things. It was extremely hype. It was extremely intense. I was super into the characters. But as I grew up, and especially in that, again, that decade between, I started to see some of the flaws in certain aspects of the series. And I still liked it, but I wasn't like as in love with it. The rose tinted view I had of it from the past wasn't how I viewed it anymore. But it's kind of fitting for like one of the main color themes so far for this for the Thousand Year Blood War arc to be rose colored, because this is definitely inciting that same feeling in me that I had as a kid. When Ichigo and Yuhabaha start to fight here, the animation, the way the scene is shot and everything, it's like just the purest definition of hype. Like I was kind of flabbergasted when it was happening. I got like I wasn't saying much at first, because I was just like in awe. And it's insane because obviously the animation quality is drastically better than it ever was back then. But when you're younger, you tend to see things almost for being better than they are. Like, this is kind of how I imagined it looked back in those days. But now I know it's like, no, it wasn't that great in terms of the animation. It wasn't bad by any means, but it wasn't that great. But it is now. And I think that's really, really exciting. But on top of that, on top of just the insane levels of hype that this series instilled in me, we have the reveal. So I mentioned, I think at the very beginning of this arc, when we started these reactions, that there were a couple things that I knew that I wasn't sure if had been revealed back in the original series, or if they were revealed in this arc, and I just knew about it because of the manga, and because fans talked over that decade. One of those things was, I did find out was in the original series, that it was revealed back then in the anime, and that was that Ichigo's father is a Soul Reaper. But one of the other things that I wasn't sure if it was revealed yet, but also honestly makes just perfect sense that it wasn't and that it was revealed right here, is that not only was Ichigo's father a Soul Reaper, but his mother was a Quincy. Like the way the reveal was done here too was so cool with the blue Vena and all coming out, having been his latent Quincy powers having been activated due to the prison and the spiritual pressure and everything from the Sternritter guy. Um, I think that's like I think that's a really good way to do it because having Ichigo trapped for all that time, while it did assist in the obliteration of the Soul Society, it also allowed Ichigo to unlock like even stronger abilities than he already had. Like, let's see, this dude is a Soul Reaper by blood, not just substitute Soul Reaper, by the way. He is a visored. He I think he's not a he's something else too, I think. But he's also a Quincy. And it's like Jesus fuck. And I understand he's a shonen protagonist. Of fucking course he's overpowered as hell. Naruto is overpowered. Luffy is overpowered. If you're a shonen protagonist, you almost have to be overpowered. I think the only exception that I can think of off the top of my head is maybe Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Like, he's an extremely powerful alchemist, but he is by no means overpowered, and the series makes that very clear. And, like, even Luffy in One Piece is not as overpowered as other characters. He gets beat a lot, and pretty handedly, too, at times. And so Oda makes sure that he's not too overpowered, comparatively. And it's like, Ichigo is... I almost feel like Ichigo is the strongest of the big three protagonists. Because he, like, has every power system in this series. And it's just like, it just stacks, you know? He gets everything. And it's like, my dude, Tite Kubo, why? Like, we already have a Quincy in the group. We don't need Ichigo to be a Quincy too. But one big thing about this is that it does set up a lot for more information about Ichigo's mom and everything. And also, it also brings up a really interesting fact here. Ichigo's parents are a union between rival sides. Ichigo's parents are fucking Romeo and Juliet. Like, we have a Soul Reaper and a Quincy. Two people who are supposed to hate each other. But instead, they fucking got married and had kids. They had 3 children. And they love the shit out of each other. And it's just like, okay, I want to know more about this. Because I knew that this was the case. I knew that his mother was a Quincy. I don't know any details. I don't know if they're going to go into lore with that. I assume they're going to have to. Ichigo's going to have to be told all about this. That's going to be insane, though, to find out, like, more details surrounding the history here. And how all of that happened. That's going to be really interesting. I'm very invested in seeing how this plays out with all of that. But I was talking during the reaction as well, like, moving on from the Quincy thing for now. I was talking about how, like what, 90% of the Soul Society is just dead at this point. And I think that includes Byakuya, because we saw his Zanpakuto, like, turn to dust, for lack of a better way to put it. Also, Zangetsu is broken. What does that mean? But yeah, it's just this is insanity because we've had like obviously insane levels of opponents before, like Aizen, obviously. That's probably the biggest one. But I I just feel like Yuhabaha is on such a different level. And the Vandenreich as a whole. Like, don't get me wrong. I feel like Aizen would give Yuhabaha a really insane fight. But I 100% believe Yuhabaha is notably stronger. I just feel that Aizen is trickier. That's the thing. I feel like Yuhabaha is more straightforward. He does like obviously plan shit out because this entire thing was exceptionally planned. They were entirely too prepared for this. Um, but Aizen's entire thing is manipulating people. Like that's his entire thing. So I think he could maybe stand a chance against Yuhabaha just from that. But I don't know if his illusions and insane powers and everything from that would how exactly it would stand up to Yuhabaha. Like I don't know how closely matched they would be. I don't know. I don't know. Um, but he is definitely manipulative enough to have affected Yuhabaha in this season so far, because we know he manipulated the perception of time, and Yuhabaha thought he was like talking to Aizen for like what a couple minutes, but he was in there for probably hours, and it's just yeah, that was that was interesting because Yuhaba had no idea. He did not fucking know until the time ran out. Because apparently they can only be out of, I guess, their dimension or whatever for a short amount of time. But he had no clue, like not even an inkling. His I guess right hand knew, and only didn't say anything because it wouldn't have really affected anything. But yeah, the fact that that could have been done without him knowing is probably a sign that Aizen would at least stand a good chance against him. I would just love to see that fight. Don't tell me, by the way, if that does end up happening or not. Do not spoil this for me. um, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the action in this. The moment between Byakuya and Ichigo, even though Ichigo really didn't say anything, was so powerful because of how their kind of relationship started and everything, how they like, originally acted towards each other. That was such a powerful like insane scene. And for Ichigo to just like leave right after without answering his question and all because he knew that Byakuya would understand his actions. It's like I don't want to believe Byakuya is dead. I just don't want to believe it. After just such a amazing character moment like that, I just don't want to believe it. To be fair though, like Momo died, didn't she? Like Aizen killed her when he revealed himself, but she's back. I don't remember how she came back, by the way. Maybe she wasn't fully dead. And maybe like I don't know, Mayuri or someone, he's the doctor scientist guy. Maybe That's how she survived? I don't remember. I said before, I don't remember a lot of things from the original series because it has been such a long time since I've seen most of it. So if I forget certain little things here and there, that's something you can remind me on. You can tell me, it's like, oh, how did Momo survive back then after Aizen, impaled her? How did she survive back in the original series? You could tell me that, as long as it's not a spoiler for the current series slash arc. As long as you don't spoil the Thousand Year Blood War, you can tell me stuff from the previous series. But yeah, um, I'm just like wowed over and over by how good this continues to be, and I am very excited to see what continues to happen. Also, Habaha apparently wants to re-educate Ichigo. It's like, okay, come on. We already had the Nazi vibes. You're gonna send Ichigo to a re-education facility? Really? Like, come on. That's a bit on the nose. uh but yeah, I'm interested to see like more of this. And excuse me, sorry about that. That came out of nowhere. To see more of like how this continues to go down now that the attack is over. Like, what's gonna happen next? How are we? Where are we gonna go from here? Like the Soul Society, can they even recover from something like this? Who's gonna be in charge now? Is it gonna be like Unohana or someone? I don't know. I don't know. Put Kisuke in charge. Oh, we still haven't found that out, by the way. Who the fuck killed the Sternritter? Opie? Who killed him? Who came to the rescue there? And who did Urahara respond to there? Who was it? We don't know. We are still not told about that. Was it Ishin? Was it Ichigo's father? That could be it, possibly, right? And the last time we saw Chad, he had like a bunch of holes in his body. I mean, I'm sure Orihime could heal him. But still, that's what we leave on for that? Also, I like how Orihime was brought up in this episode as having like been possibly able to heal Yamamoto's arm and all. But like he didn't want to inconvenience the humans because he had, in Yuhabaha's eyes, grown soft, but in reality, it's just, he became a good person. Just so wild. Such a wild episode, such a wild series. This is insane. This is absolute insanity. In the best way possible. Like I said, tell me your thoughts down below. No spoilers, though, for what's to come. But yeah, if you want to answer my question about how Momo survived in the original series, feel free. Unless that is a spoiler for Thousand Year Blood War, which I don't think it is. But yeah. Either way, thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. Once again, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.